Welcome to Growing Old. Let's put together this Autopot system in the greenhouse. Well, my whole intentions on this video was I wanted us to put together the platform for our reservoir and put together the reservoir, but due to some physical limitations, yeah, it was just better that I put it together like that. But we'll talk about it a little bit, because if you remember last time we talked about I had a 60-gallon tank in here and it was blue, and it's really good, but I think it just held in a little heat and had a little evaporation. But so now I'm going with this 400 liter 105 gallon Flexi Tank Pro. It's white, so it should reflect the heat. That might not be as nice for the plants in here, but it gets pretty hot in here anyways. But this will reflect the heat, keep my water cooler, and I shouldn't lose as much in evaporation. But what I'd like to do now is let's put together some of these Autopots, and we'll see how we go there. Okay, so what I'd like to start with is, we haven't done these before. These are the XXL pots, and this is like this. It'll hold a 13-gallon pot, and then of course with this I hold a 9-gallon pot, and a 9-gallon pot is what I use for my photos out here. Another thing on this, unlike the other ones, this one's got a little drain plug, so if you use it in a tent, you plug that. Outside, you leave it open. A lot of people, they might use these outside and not inside of a greenhouse, so you'd want it to overflow if it rained or something, and even in here in the greenhouse, you want it to overflow, you know, at least leave from there. And I've ran this one last year, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to change out this line and kind of set it up, because last year they were a little close, I thought, to the side walls, so I'm just bringing them out. But let's go ahead and change this one. Now what I want is, we want to put the hose, of course you want to wet it, you want to get it through here. Okay, and you've pulled it through enough, and now we want to put our cap on. Make sure you put it on the correct way, and then again get that wet. Let me put that in. And bring up your connector there. Screw that baby on. And now we just pull it through. We're just pulling it through. Pulling it through, pulling it through, pulling it through. And then, if we remember, just like the small ones, down here, hopefully you can see it, there's a little T fitting down there, and we're going to put this over top of that. And then once I got it down over the top of that, I want to press down, but I want to make sure I press on the gray, don't press on the black, because that'll break. And now let's figure out where we want to sit it. Okay, I want to sit it right like that, right about there. Looks good to me. So now what I'm going to do is I'll take my hose, I'll reach out, cut it, put that on, take my cover it. Now I'll get ready for my 9 gallon. And there you have it. And what I'll do after I get all these done is I'll come out, I'll put a level on them, and I'll make sure I get them sunk down into the gravel to make sure that it's level. But you know what? Let's build one more. And this one, I already know how far I want to do it, so I've pre-cut the hose. And of course, just like the other one, we start off with a grommet. Get that grommet pushed through. Now I'm going to push through my hose. Then my valve. Make sure I put that on properly. And we're back. Boom. We're up and on. Tighten her down. And let's pull this a little bit. Again, find our T, put it down there, pull our hose out a little bit, keep pulling that line, pull that line. And it'll come down just to where you can't see any of the blue. And then we just put it on there, press it down. And boom, this one's done, and we'll put it down there on the end. Okay, so there you have it. We'll get these put out. Now let's kind of look around and see how I've got all the lines set up, and maybe just give you a better visual of what we got going on. Okay, so now we're starting at the back of the tank. And you can see how I've got that hooked up back here going into this line. You can see here's my valve going in, and then here's going down. That's a filter, and that's going to hopefully help keep those lines from getting clogged. They didn't get too clogged last year, and this is a brand new filter. And then of course you can see it runs off that direction, and then it'll come back this way. And it's all the same on both sides, but we'll have different plants there. And of course here, spot for an auto, and we go down the line. You're going down. And then here, you see that blue jug. Now what I do with that blue jug is I fill it up, and during the day, that water jug, and once I get plants out here, I'll have another one maybe, but that water jug will warm up in here, the water will, and then at night, it'll keep it a little warmer inside of here. So I like to put those jugs in. Let's go across, and on this side, this is where most of the photos are going to be, and you can see where they're going to sit, and there's how big the pots are. But you'll notice I've got this trellis netting up, because what happens is they'll get so big they just go out and then they start touching the side, and I don't really want that. So there's all that. And then of course, one last addition. If we look right up, you can see the hose hanging. And what that does is that goes straight into my reservoir at the top. So I can fill it from outside. And I think that's about it. Please like and subscribe and join us in our journey. Thank you.